Hi all, Hipper here. Now today we are going back to the roots and back to one of the reasons that I actually started to play Agile Cruisers. And that is the ability to lead and to take over for teams that are a little bit like holding back or not really playing the game to its fullest. And the game before this game I actually played with 2/3 of these players, so I was pretty much aware of what to expect. So that's why I'm firing now, because I want to be the first ship spotted, and I want to take the fire off my team until they can get into a good position. And at the same time, I want the opposite team to reveal their positions before they get into a good position. Hopefully, that means that my team can get some good shots in, and at the same time, we have a good idea of how the enemy layout is and where they are trying to get to. So as you can see here, that worked out pretty well. About 3 ships took the bait, and we now know where they are, and some of them are even still spotted. Now, like I said before, I played with 2/3 of these players the game before, and I know that they're not the best shots in the game. So that's why I'm playing even more aggressive than I usually do. And also, I'm in Wichita, and like citadeling this ship is nigh impossible. And my first job now is to take care of that destroyer that the guys over here already spotted, which is actually very nice. So I know exactly where he is. So I'm just going to head over there now, and at the same time I'm trying to tank as much as I can. So we got a Benham over here, and he's already under fire, which is nice. So we just gotta get rid of him completely. So if you look at the minimap now, you can see that everybody's pretty much following me, except for one battleship that has chosen to go down the right flank. And that's a bit of a shame for him, that is, because no one else has actually chosen to go to that flank. So that will obviously be our weak flank, so I'll have to keep an eye on that for the remainder of the game. And that is a reason that I always spec into speed on my cruisers, because I need to be able to go where I'm needed on the map, especially with teams like this. But first, I have to take care of this destroyer here, so hopefully we can actually push on this flank here. And so far the right flank is holding, so until that falls, I won't start to consider retreating or going back that way. So I'm spotted now, so that little destroyer must be around here somewhere. So we'll punch on the radar, and surely enough, he's sitting there in his smoke. Bit of a mistake. And now the key here is to sink him before I have to rush out from the island here to get him. If I have to, I'll do that, because it's more important to get this destroyer here than the fact that I survive. But I'm lucky enough to kill him before I actually have to show broadside to the entire enemy team. So I use the island to stop before I get into a crossfire. Anyway, the next problem is now starting to show itself, because my whole team is clumping together here behind me, and they all want to sit behind the island and take pot shots at the enemy, but of course nobody wants to spot. And as you can see, our destroyer has taken upon himself to defend the base, which is less than ideal. So someone will have to spot this team, and in an Agile Cruiser you can do that. And especially in Wichita, because one, like I said before, these guys aren't the best shots, and two, it's really hard to get this ship down. Like, you have to hit it exactly. And an Agile Cruiser here, I still have 3 heals, so I'm not too worried. Although I have like 4 or 5 ships aiming at me. As long as I can kite them, it's not really a problem. And really, my goal here is to spot the enemy team, so my team can get some shots in. but they're very reluctant to even push their nose out just a little bit. So I'm trying to encourage them a little bit here. I mean, come on, shoot at the enemy. They're right there. We have to push some flank, and it's obviously not going to be the right flank, so we'll have to do the left flank. So my plan was, well, I was hoping to do this, and then my team would start to push forward in cover, of course, not the way I'm doing it. But it looks like there is no movement at all over there. And although these guys here aren't the best shots, and I don't have much to fear, right now this is just a waste of time. There's no way I can out DPM 4 or 5 ships on my own. And I have a sneaking feeling that we are going to get flanked on the right flank, because we've lost everyone over there. And the destroyer is still sitting in the base behind an island, unable to spot what's going on the right flank. So yeah, we'll have to use our 40 knots, and we'll have to go do something that's more important than helping out over here. At least here, my team has the advantage of numbers. They're pretty much equal with the enemy team, and if I leave, they'll lose a bit of spotting. But now a battleship has actually moved out a little bit further, so as soon as I turn behind the island, they should still be able to spot the enemy. So as long as my team can keep the enemies at bay over here, I will turn in towards the middle of the map. And as you can see, I've been tanking the whole time this game, pretty much from the first second when I started firing my guns on purpose, simply to take as much fire off my team as possible. So I'm going to take on this Atlanta here that's trying to take B behind our backs, and that's exactly what I was fearing was going to happen. And obviously I wasn't the only one having that thought. And I will go down towards our D base now, as there is a Wichita approaching it. The Shores is already on top of that, but he's too far away, so I'll head down. And the only defender down there is a Miyoko, and he's pretty much half health. So he's facing a Wichita, and that is a pretty unfair fight. So we'll have to head down here now to take this guy on. And luckily, it seems that my team is actually getting into their own now. They're starting to take up better positions, they're starting to flank, and they're starting to push the enemy back. And that's exactly what I wanted. And while they're doing that, I will support them by doing other things. Like, for example, getting rid of this annoying Wichita here who's about to cap and probably take on our destroyer as well, and we don't want that. So you can see we've only got about 7 minutes left of this game now, and it's only really now that my team is starting to really get into the game. And that's one thing I use agile cruisers for, is to kind of push teams like this into well, getting something done. So we still only have one cap, and B is unclaimed by anyone. So since there's only 2 defenders here, I'll take it on. And again, I'm the best suited to this because I'm agile and I can outmaneuver this battleship here, at least for a little bit. All I really need to do is to get behind that island in the middle, and I'll be able to cap, since there's only 3 ships left and they're all at around the same vector from me. So if I can get into that cover, I don't really have any problems at all. So see now, this team here has really gotten into their own. We are ahead like 8 versus 2 now. And just a few minutes ago, I would think that would be an impossibility. But as it turns out, it is we're doing really well. So the setup gets in a good shot here, but that's going to be the only shot he gets, because I am going to get into cover now, and I can cap while I still put pressure on this guy. So in the last 2 minutes, the enemy team has lost no less than 5 ships. And this was a battle that could easily have gone into just a kind of a camping fest, where both teams were sitting behind each of their islands, and it would probably have come down to points win. But in this case, after a bit of persuasion, we are absolutely hammering this red team here. And it's not because the red team is super good or anything like that. If you see the results, neither of the teams have very high XP. But as long as you like kind of set a good example in an agile cruiser, like games like this tend to turn out in your favor. Because I cannot prove this in any way, or I don't have any I don't have any way to prove it. But it seems that if someone charges out and shoots at the enemy and takes a lot of hits, and or not in my case, but seems to take a lot of hits, it seems to light a fire under some of the more timid people, and it really helps. And there is no better ship for this role than Wichita, in my opinion, because exactly for the fact that it can tank a lot of shots, and every shot that the enemy fires at an agile cruiser is in most cases a wasted shot, and it's a shot that won't be fired at your team, allowing them to, one, get into a better position, and two, not get so overwhelmed, because that's usually what happens. Like, for example, say that Atlanta in the middle had actually been able to flank. There's no telling what would happen then. I would guess that my team would probably start to flee into the open water and allow themselves to get citadeled by the remaining red team behind the island they were actually trying to take on. Of course, that's just a theory, and it's based on experience, but I mean, again, there's no telling what could happen. But a game like this is exactly what an agile cruiser was meant for. And it's by no means a carry, but it's more like a gentle push in the right direction, and doing what cruisers are supposed to do, which is to support the team in any way necessary. And that's exactly what I did. Like, in the beginning, I tanked every shot I could. I revealed as many positions as I could. I took out the one destroyer on the enemy team, and then I made sure we didn't get surrounded, and then I defended the base, and all the while my team can do whatever they want and they think is best. Now for me, this approach here cuts down on the frustration that a lot of people face in this game, and it's a lot more satisfying winning a battle this way. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video here, and I'll see you out there.